to Middletown High School. I would like to take a moment to ask the graduates of the class of 2020 to please enter the auditorium. I would like to take a moment to introduce everyone who joins me up here on the stage. Beginning on my left, my far left, we have Pastor John Williams, President of the Board. Mr. Richard Del Moro, Superintendent of Schools. Mrs. Amy Creedon, Assistant Superintendent for Instruction. Mr. Vince Crescenzo, Board Member. Mr. John Perino, Board Member. Mrs. Paula Blumenau, Board Member. We have Mr. Michael Tuttle, Assistant Superintendent for Administration. Ms. Karen Marconi, Director of Special Education. Mrs. Elizabeth Bowler, Coordinator of Literacy. And Ms. Linda Bratt, Director of ESL Bilingual and World Languages. And my high school team, Mr. Norval Connell, Instructional Leader for STEM. Ms. Rachel Kuntz, Instructional Leader for Special Education. Mr. William Donahue, Instructional Leader for Humanities. Mrs. Lauren Durr, Instructional Leader for Student Support Services. Ms. Karina Acevedo, Dean of House 1. Mr. Whitaker, Dean of House 3. Mr. Anthony Williams, Dean of Student Support. There is another group of people I would like to recognize at this time. The many faculty and staff members who came out here tonight to support our students. Could you please stand and be recognized and know how grateful I am to have you all here tonight. MHS faculty and staff. At this time, I would like to ask our MHS NJROTC Color Guard to join us on stage for the presentation of the colors and the flag salute. At this time, if you could please rise. You may be seated. Special thanks to our MHS Chamber Singers under the direction of Mr. Gregory Bennett. Again, outstanding. At this time, it gives me great honor to welcome Mr. Richard Del Moro to the podium for the Superintendent's address to the graduates.
Thank you, Mr. Sorrentino. Well, it's always exciting to attend graduations because it signifies a completion of an arduous task. But the one in the winter has a special touch to it, certainly not to take away from our June and August graduations. But this is a special time because it talks about perseverance as well as achievement. We have 16 graduates slated to be receiving awards, their diplomas this evening, and 11 of which are graduating earlier than their other students by achieving really a phenomenal task of doing something beyond the scope of a four-year program. They did a four-year program plus in less than 4 years. But we should also recognize those who needed just a little extra time for their perseverance and their grit. And I want to applaud both groups for that. So good evening, Pastor Williams, members of the Board of Education, faculty, administrators, guests, parents, and guardians, but most importantly, members of the graduating class of, as you heard, your principal, Mrs. Sorrentino, say, for the first time, the graduating class of 2020. Graduations are viewed as an ending, the conclusion of 13 years of formal education. But it should be viewed for you, graduates, as a beginning, ready to begin your lives as members of the adult community. And true for the 16, for some of you, this will mean a job or a life in the military, two of which tonight will be entering the military. For others, it will mean college or technical school, furthering your education. And some, of course, will take the life of the business world. Whatever your future takes you, it is my sincere hope you will look back upon your years in the Middletown School District, but in particular at Middletown High School, as having supported you and prepared you to meet and deal with the challenges that life will indeed present to you. Let me thank your teachers, your administration, the staff, along with the long journey from kindergarten to grade 12, for their dedication and support to you as their students. They have dedicated many hours, and Chris would like this, above their normal workday, to find the extra time they can give at each and every one of you so that you can be here this evening as successful graduates. What a group. Let's give them a hand. However, to another very important support group, the families, the parents, the guardians, the aunts, the uncles, the friends of these graduates. You have given so much of your time and energy to be instrumental in the success of your graduate. We have welcomed you in this school district and then in this school and valued all the time your contributions each and every time you contributed. Tonight, at your graduation ceremony, you rightly will receive many, many congratulatory remarks and praises. You can proudly be considered a Middletown High School graduate among the many who have come before you. Enjoy this moment, be safe, have some fun before you enter the challenges of the life in front of you. Although unknown, your future is an amazing place, full of life's challenges and successes. However, there will be obstacles to overcome, and successes doesn't come without some pain, some bumps and bruises. Like when we started to learn how to walk. Think about this. A baby does not give up when he or she fails when learning how to walk. He or she pulls himself up and tries again and again and again. The baby never stops trying to walk, no matter how long it takes. It never occurs to the baby that he or she may fail. So he or she repeats the process in spite of the bruises and bumps along the way. Most of us are guilty at one time or another thinking about giving up because the task is too difficult or too painful. It all starts with our thinking. Thoughts of fear, of doubt, and failure begin to invade our thinking. But remember, this is key, the difference between those who fail and those who succeed are that those successful ones learn from their failure and persist anyhow. Persist. Successful individuals realize future is the road to achievement. Failure is simply the price we pay to succeed. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. Follow your passion, and your commitment will be equal to your accomplishment. I am confident your growth will continue beyond tonight, and you will meet the challenges that will, no doubt, confront you. The future is in your hands, so make the most of it. I can go on and on and on and talk about this, but you didn't come here tonight to listen to lengthy speeches. Tonight is for celebrating. Therefore, let me wish you all the happiness, success, and the best in the future, class of 220.
I'm back. Little stool under there. Thank you very much, Mr. Del Moro, for that great address to our graduates. At this time, I'd like to welcome Pastor John Williams, our Board of Education President, for his address to the graduates.
I'm 6'8" now. There we go. I'm tall enough as it is. Good evening, everybody, and congratulations, first of all, to the winter graduation, the class of 2020. You all are deserving of all of this applause. I've got to be honest with you, I always enjoy these particular graduations, especially the winter, as the superintendent said a little bit earlier. I enjoy these particular graduations because they are indicative of your persistence, of your perseverance, and of the achievements that you have made. And so we've come to celebrate you tonight. It's not about anybody else but you and your families, all that you have gone through and achieved over these last few years that you've been here at Middletown High School. Because of the events of the last month or so, I will say, I thought that I had one thing that I was going to say, and this evening things changed in my mind that I want to share with you. Because the reality is that while you've been here in these last 4 years, that you have faced good times and bad times, ups and downs, ins and outs. You've faced so many kinds of challenges and achievements. And so it made me begin to think about the fact that life in itself is real. If we would share anything with you as you're preparing to step into the next stage of life, it would be, don't think it's strange that you're going to have challenges. Don't think it's strange that there's going to be things that will come to try to block you and try to stop you from progressing in the rest of your life. But my hope is that while you've been here, that you've been given the tools to be able to face every challenge. Some of those tools that you've been given didn't always feel good. Some of those tools that you've been given, sometimes they were great things. But I'm reminded that all the ingredients of a cake, if you take all those ingredients individually, by themselves, they're not all good. But if you take them and you put them into the bowl and you mix them up, and then you put them in the oven and you allow the heat to begin to work with those ingredients, it comes out as cake, and it's something that's real good. My hope is that in these last 4 years that you've taken all of those individual ingredients, whether they were good or they were not, or they weren't good, and that you've allowed them to begin to cook, so that when you step out of these doors on tonight and you switch that tassel to the other side, that you'll be prepared to face the next stage of life. What I want to share with you tonight is, yeah, life is real. In this climate, in this day and age, we're going to face a lot of things that we never thought we would have to face. You're going to have to see things that you never thought you would see. But you're up for it. And I want you to understand this one thing. You don't have to settle for second best to anybody. You don't have to settle for being mediocre. You don't have to settle for being average. Because you've been designed to be successful. There's a champion in each and every one of you. And so, as you leave this high school and you leave this part of your life and you go out into the world, wherever you might go and wherever life will take you, I want to encourage you to not be afraid. Face every challenge with courage. Face every challenge with boldness. Be true to who you are, because within you is greatness. And it's your job now to show that greatness and allow it to shine so that you can impact everybody that you come across in your life. Will Smith said something in the movie After Earth. He said, "Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at the present and may never, ever exist. That is near insanity. But don't misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice." Yoda said this in one of the Star Wars movies. Yeah, I come from every angle. "Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. Whatever you've got to face, don't be afraid. Whatever you've got to face, don't be fearful. It doesn't matter who's small-minded. It doesn't matter who's ignorant. It doesn't matter who doesn't believe in you, as long as you believe in you. And as long as you continue to keep your head up and don't look down. Because if you look down, all you see is the shattered dreams. If you look down, all you see is the struggles and the things that lie in front of you. But if you keep your head up, you can begin to look past all of those struggles and envision yourself in your future. And envision yourself as a champion, envision yourself as a warrior, and envision yourself as being successful. And so, since I'm a preacher, in Joshua, as the children of Israel were about to cross over into the promised land, there's a word that was given to them. He said, as you go into the promised land, only be thou courageous and very strong. Don't be fearful, don't be afraid. If you keep your heads up, I promise you you'll be able to change this world. If you keep your heads up, I promise you you'll impact generations to come. Because vertical thinking brings horizontal results. Never hang your head, always look up, and always look ahead. Because you are the class of 2020 of Middletown High School, and you are champions and you are warriors. And we celebrate you and your families tonight. Your future is bright, and I'm glad that you're in my future. I'm glad that you're the ones that's going down the road, making sure that everything is set for us as we continue on. Congratulations, graduates. This is your day. Enjoy.
At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Del Moro up for the certification of the graduates. Yes, Mr. Del Moro.
These 16 graduates met all the requirements to receive a New York State high school diploma.
Yes, they have. At this time, it is the presentation of the diplomas. So, I have our counselors here. May I welcome our first graduate to the podium.
Good evening. So for House 1, we have Josiah Chisholm. And she's not with us tonight, but Miss Maya Davila.
From House 2, Alpha Maria Guzman de Jesus.
Also from House 2, we have James Isaiah Harris. Kayleen Mariah Jimenez.
From House 3, he couldn't be here, but Brandon Martinez. And also from House 3, Deontay James Moffitt.
Estefania Pagan. Mariela Cristelda Peralta. Kyla Janae Philippe.
From House 4, we have Joseph Robinson. Absolutely. Jason Rodriguez. Marlene Saavedra. Lisa Samuel.
And certainly, last but not least, we have Giuliani Vargas. Cheyenne Villamil Moran.
Mrs. Creedon, could you join me at the podium at this time?
Okay, graduates, this is the moment you've been waiting for. You are officially able to go ahead and turn your tassels to the reverse side. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last time, my graduates, you hear me say, Deontay, you too, baby. You hear me say, ladies and gentlemen in this auditorium, I thank you for allowing me to take the journey with you. Do well, make me proud, you got this. Enjoy. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Please join us to celebrate in our lobby.
Yeah, I did it, you know. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
Yeah,
Come on. Yeah.
You see, we made it. With a language we all understand. With an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. But just because the record has a groove, don't make it